Across the stage, Inoue stood quietly, his physique lean and lethal, his eyes boring into his opponent. The crowd felt the shift. The challenger's bravado was loud, but Inoue's silence was deafening. By fight night, the arena was a cauldron of noise, every chant and scream building toward the main event. The challenger entered first, his walkout a spectacle of flashing lights and booming music, his robe glittering with "Monster Killer" in bold letters. He danced into the ring, throwing mock punches and winking at the crowd. Some cheered, others jeered, but all eyes were on him. Then Inoue's music hit, a low, ominous beat that seemed to vibrate through the floor. He walked to the ring with purpose, his face expressionless, his team trailing like shadows. No theatrics, no hype, just a man on a mission. The referee called them to the center, laying out the rules. The challenger kept talking, muttering taunts even as the ref spoke. Inoue's stare never wavered, cold and unblinking. The bell rang and the arena detonated. The challenger came out swinging, his punches wild but heavy, aiming to overwhelm Inoue early. But NAOYA was a phantom, slipping and weaving with impossible grace. His counters were surgical, sharp jabs to the face, hooks to the ribs that drew, winces from the crowd. The commentators were frantic. "Inoue's untouchable," one yelled. "This is a clinic." The challenger, undeterred, kept pressing, landing a solid right that briefly hushed the arena. Inoue absorbed it, his expression unchanged, and fired back with a left hook that rocked the challenger's head. The crowd roared, sensing blood. The first round ended with Inoue in control, his opponent's bravado starting to crack. The second round was where the tide turned. The challenger, frustrated by Inoue's elusiveness, grew reckless. His punches became sloppier, his taunts more desperate. "Fight me, coward," he shouted, leaving his guard open for a fatal moment. Inoue pounced. A blistering combination, left to the body, right to the jaw, sent the challenger staggering. The crowd surged to its feet as Inoue pressed forward, his fists a blur. The challenger swung wildly, a last-ditch effort to turn the fight, but Inoue was relentless. A devastating uppercut caught the challenger clean, his eyes rolling back as his knees buckled. He hit the canvas hard, the arena shaking with the impact. The referee waved it off. It was over in under 6 minutes. The crowd erupted, chanting Inoue's name as he raised a glove in quiet triumph. The challenger's team rushed in, propping him up as he blinked in daze, his ego shattered alongside his dreams. Inoue didn't gloat. He bowed to the crowd, thanked his corner, and left the ring with the same calm he'd entered. In the post-fight interview, he kept it brief. "I fight for my pride," he said, his voice steady. "He chose to disrespect me." The ring answered. The interviewer pushed for more, but Inoue just nodded and walked off, letting his performance speak. The aftermath was electric. Social media exploded with clips of the knockout, each angle more brutal than the last. "Inoue is a demon," one fan tweeted, the post going viral. Another wrote, "Talk trash to NAOYA and you're finished, instant karma." The challenger, humbled, posted a terse apology online, admitting he'd misjudged his opponent. "Respect to Inoue," he wrote. "He's the real champ." But the boxing world was merciless, dissecting his hubris with glee. Inoue's legend grew, his name etched deeper into the sport's pantheon. Pundits called the fight a masterclass, a reminder that skill and heart trump ego every time. Back in Yokohama, Inoue was already training, his focus unshaken by the hype. The circus of fight night faded, but the lesson lingered. Naoya Inoue wasn't just a champion, he was a force, a quiet storm who let his fists deliver justice. The challenger had learned what others before him had. Disrespect the monster and you pay a price. In the ring where truth reigns, Inoue's karma was swift, brutal, and undeniable. Every seat filled with fans hungry for a spectacle. There stood Naoya Inoue, the undefeated bantamweight phenom dubbed the Monster. His face a mask of serene intensity, his eyes glinting with quiet resolve. Opposite him, his challenger, a brash contender with a sharp tongue and sharper ego, strutted like a peacock, his grin wide and taunting. He'd spent weeks trashing Inoue, calling him a fraud, a flash in the pan, promising to dethrone him in humiliating fashion. The air crackled with anticipation. This was no ordinary fight. This was Judgment Day. The saga began a month earlier, in a packed press conference that felt more like a powder keg than a publicity event. Reporters jostled for space, cameras hummed, and the tension was thick enough to choke on. Inoue sat at the dais, his posture relaxed, his hands resting lightly on the table. He was a man of precision, both in the ring and out. His words measured, his demeanor humble. But his opponent had no such filter. The challenger, a rising star with a string of knockouts and a flair for drama, leaned into the microphone, his voice dripping with scorn. "Inoue's a myth," he sneered, his eyes glinting with malice. "All this monster talk? I'm gonna end it. 3 rounds, tops, and he's done." The crowd erupted in gasps, some booing, others murmuring in shock. Inoue didn't react. He tilted, his head slightly, his gaze locking onto the challengers. "We'll see," he said, his voice soft but laced with steel. The challenger laughed, mistaking silence for weakness, and doubled down. "You're going down, monster. Better start praying." The weeks that followed were a masterclass in provocation. The challenger took to social media with relentless gusto, posting videos that mocked Inoue's fighting style, his physique, even his stoic personality. One clip showed him smashing a piñata shaped like Inoue's face, cackling as candy spilled out. "This is what's coming," he shouted, the video racking up millions of views. Fans were polarized. Some ate up the challenger's bravado, hyping him as the next big thing, while others saw it as a death wish. Inoue's supporters flooded comment sections with warnings. "You're poking a beast," one wrote. "The monster doesn't play." Inoue, meanwhile, stayed above the fray. He didn't tweet, didn't engage. Instead, he retreated to his gym in Yokohama, where the real work began. The sound of his gloves hammering pads echoed through the Spartan space, each strike a testament to his discipline. His sparring partners, battle-hardened pros themselves, left sessions wincing, their ribs tender from Inoue's body shots. "He's not human," one muttered to a journalist. "This guy's about to learn the hard way." Inoue's training was a thing of beauty, a blend of